Hello and welcome everybody. My name is Elle, otherwise known as the Great Gatsby 21. I am going to be doing a bit of a tier list for you today. I know this is not super gaming content, but this is something I'm really passionate about. Avatar: The Last Airbender specifically. We are going to be doing a bit of a ranking on the characters in terms of character development. I am joined by Ryan Relish, I guess now it is.
What's up,
Snowman Burner and Sky.
Hello.
So, of course, we must start out with Aang here.
I mean, we don't have to,
Well,
but
we might as well just go top to bottom.
are all these rankings to your liking, or would you like to add one?
I think these are fair.
Okay.
I think this doesn't give me too many options to where I'm overwhelmed.
Right.
So, I personally am going to have to say D. I would love to hear all y'all's input. Just give me just a second here. Aang, even though there is growth, as far as his character, that doesn't really change. And he makes adamant attempts to make sure it doesn't, right? All of his principles stay intact. He stays relatively childlike pretty much throughout the entire series, even when things get relatively serious.
Are we just going off of just Kid Aang, or are we going to say, like, characters that we have met, like, forms of him, like adult Aang?
Oh, you mean like from adult Aang in Korra type thing? I was going strictly on the Avatar: The Last Airbender series. Start to finish, season 1 to season 3. So
I agree with that, then.
So the only thing that I personally will add is you do see a lot of maturity from book 1 to book 3, but through the process of going through everything, you don't see those major changes, but you do see a significant improvement from episode 1 to the very last episode.
And there's a good point. There is a maturity level that is introduced, and he gets a lot better about dealing with things head on, but that's probably his only significant character development that you see. Other than that, his personality and his childlike naivete sometimes I think stays intact. Alrighty, on to
Appa.
Mr. Appa, my favorite. Appa's definitely a D as well. There's not a whole lot of maturity or character development that can really happen. All he can do is grunt. So, as much as I think he deserves an S, but Azula.
I mean, it's not your typical character arc, but she does have one.
Fair.
There is a lot of development, but it's a development downhill.
It's going backwards.
Right?
But
it's a downhill arc.
It's a spiral,
It's
right?
still
it's the question now of, did they do a good job with her psychological changes?
Personally, I think so.
I would say, personally for me, but it's your video, I would put her to B. Possibly low A.
A minus B.
I think high end of B. If not the first in B. I may change that depending on how we go through this, but I'm with you guys. I think a B is pretty fair, and I love that they incorporate her downhill spiral and they allow us to see just how much these types of childhood traumas can really spiral.
Just how human she really is.
Yes.
Yep.
Perfect. Ooh, Katara's dad. I forget his name right now. That's my bad. Katara's dad. Oh wait, no.
Katara's dad's the one.
You're right. This is the one that they find at the nunnery. That is basically the right-hand man to Katara's dad. The one that basically gives them the letter and the coordinates of where he's at. That's also a D for me personally. I don't.
Lower or higher than Appa?
Lower even.
Really
we
don't
see.
a whole
I mean, if you
lot.
don't remember him that much, then there's probably not much of an
Right.
arc.
No, and that's exactly it. There's nothing. I mean, he's shown pretty much for half an episode, and then they part ways. So, Cabbage Man is below him even.
Cabbage Man does not change.
Slow and steady.
My cabbages.
You know what? Well, I'll give him this. That cabbage stand gets rebuilt every time. Bigger and better. They still wreck it, but it's still there.
Spoilers for anyone who hasn't seen Korra. It's like fucking 8 years old. Go see it. But they ruin his stand again.
Yeah, they sure do. It's a really great homage, actually. It's my favorite. Sparky Sparky Boom Boom Man. I know, the name only gets better, but I don't know if did they ever give him a formal name?
He has a formal name, but I can't think of it.
I can't personally, and I think Sokka said it best. So, I'm sorry. This is also a D for me. He's also one of those characters that's only seen.
I think
once or
he's higher than
twice.
Cabbage Patch Man because, well,
Cabbage Patch.
He might even be higher than Right Hand Dude.
because to be fair, spoilers, he dies, he blows up. That's a character development.
I mean,
He's
yeah.
dead.
You know, a little bit, yeah.
We get there.
He's alive and then he's dead. That's a character arc. Like,
I hate you.
That's a change.
Oh, Sandman. Okay, so I'm gonna put this one as C.
Why?
So this is the dude that steals Appa,
Got it.
right? This is the guy that is the leader of the Sandbenders that take
so
Appa.
he's the reason that in that TikTok Kyoshi comes out. Got it.
Yep.
You put a muzzle on Appa? Oh!
They said
That's
to put
it.
a muzzle on him. You put a muzzle on my boy?
That's it. It's my turn. No, I think he's a C. He is genuinely remorseful. He was just trying to make his living, but at the same time, it was pretty cruel. I think I think that's pretty fair. Gyatso. I'm not over it. This, I would say a B as well. He goes from a relatively carefree dude to meeting Aang and being pretty strong about how he wants Aang to be shaped and formed.
Yeah.
So not only that, but you see from a third person perspective, right? You see someone go from mentor to stepping into the role of fatherly
Yes.
figure, seeing how Aang was treated by the others after finding out he was the Avatar.
Yep.
Showing him, you can still have fun, you don't need all of these friends, you just need one really good one.
Helping Aang find a balance in his life between being a monk and being very dedicated to his cause and still being a human who's allowed to have fun, make mistakes, do whatever. Also, okay, Katara's dad. I really wish I could remember his name. I've been trying. He is... Anyone want to step in here? Anybody got any thoughts? Because I'm still formulating some, I think. He's a tough one for me.
I would say personally a C.
Yeah? Where do you come from there?
Like, how he's like super overprotective over his children and then all of a sudden has to let go to have them go help the cause.
Like purposely leaving them at home to accepting. Okay.
And also towards the end, whenever they meet up with him again, they kind of is like, trying to be a father. And it's like, no, you're not going. But they're like, we have to.
No, we're going. But feel the way you feel. No, I think that's fair. I think you brought up a great point about how protective he is over his kids too, especially initially.
Mm-hmm.
And granted, they were young, right? Sokka was 14, Katara was 12, I think. So they needed to be home, but there's no character development here.
Technically, there
But
is.
That is
And
girl
by
shit.
technicality, there is, right? Because you see her go from a sweet, kind old lady to a psycho bitch
Whoa.
like that.
Whoa.
So does that...
That's character development.
I mean,
By
and
definition.
If we're ranking that the same way we're ranking Azula, right, that would almost be a B as well.
I wouldn't say higher than him.
No.
She'll be low B by the end of it.
And, I mean, they did show her, like, going to jail and, like, slowly having to
Learn how to blood
get
bend.
really fucking gruesome to deal with her life. Yeah, that's fair. Oh, It's the boy that they found earthbending in the first season. This is him with the mustache though when they're about to go to the original war.
Yeah.
So he doesn't. I mean, I put him in the C as well. He stays the same. It's a good same, but he's pretty much the same dude.
He definitely matures, but we don't get to see a whole lot of it.
Right. If they would have added it, yeah.
We'll get to that in a second.
Yeah, but hold
I
on,
just
real
needed
quick.
to do that.
That's fine. I'm good with that. This gentleman is also an A.
This
Do we
is
wanna
the
go back?
original fire teacher, right?
Yes. So this is the first fireman. I'm sorry, what were you saying?
Were we gonna go back to Iroh also?
Yes.
At the end, yes,
So-
we will.
At the
Right.
end? Okay.
He's my man. Okay. Original firebending teacher though. Okay. Fine.
We
Give me a
need to
sec.
quit skipping
Give me a
ahead.
sec.
We'll get to him,
So-
okay? We'll get to him. I'm just stating the obvious at this point, okay?
Fair enough. But original firebending teacher goes from they show us him being a general to being a literal recluse in the woods, right? Can't handle
One
the
of-
fact that he did all this bad shit.
And then one of the leaders of the White Lotus.
Exactly.
Which
So
I'm
we
pretty
get-
sure he's been conjuring since he was a general.
That's fair. And I
would even say, personally, low S.
the only reason I don't go S is because we don't get to see a whole lot of that transition. With those two, we get to see a
Fair.
shit ton of movement
Fair.
in their character line.
Because you get to see his background.
Yep.
More so than any character in this entire show.
Mm-hmm. Jet for me is also an A.
I agree with that, 100%.
As far as character movement, we see a lot, and it is
And
intermittently.
a lot of it is definitely during that second book,
Yes.
because all of it happens really fast.
Mm-hmm.
Because he finds Zuko and Iroh running a tea shop.
Yep.
He sees them firebending.
Loses his goddamn mind again, so we get that same flip. They're trying to... He's up here, drops it back down,
We first met him as Woodland Fuckboy.
who tries to kill that village of firebenders
Yeah.
because he thinks eradicating them all will solve the problem when it's really just perpetuating the problem in a different
Man, that
manner.
sounds like a fucking movie I've seen recently, or show. Star Wars? Yeah.
Maybe. No, but lots of movement from his character, back and forthing. Eventually, an honorable death, I would say.
I mean, as honorable as a rock to your stomach can be, yeah.
Fair enough.
Yes,
Fair enough.
Alrighty.
Okay, this is the girl that Zuko goes on his first date with.
Oh.
This is...
Fancy.
And she's adorable. And Zuko blows her the fuck off. He does not give a shit. She's adorable.
Sounds
as
like a
nothing.
teenage boy.
Yeah.
Are we talking like low D, high D?
I'm thinking she's low. She's probably above Cabbage, dude. But that's about all we got.
Okay.
Just gotta beat Cabbage Dude.
Judy.
Yes. What the fuck is that group that she's a part of?
What's the secret organization?
Dai Li.
Dai Li.
She's one of
Judy-
the handmaids for the Dai Li.
Judy of the Dai Li.
She has no personality at all, so bye.
She's not allowed to. All of her personality is literally brainwashed out
Yep.
of her, along with all the other
There is no
Judys.
war bossing, say.
No, there is no war in
All of
Bossing
the
Say.
Judys.
Emo Ash.
So there's a league of them, right? And they're all
Oh,
handmaids.
Right.
Yep.
Yep.
So Emo Ash from
God,
Overwatch.
I love her. I'd say C. She eventually gets on the right side
Where?
of things. She's she's bottom actually.
Really?
Yeah. Her cause never really changes.
She's
She
more of a
just
bounty
does-
hunter.
She just does
She-
bounty work for the right side of things by the end.
I mean, but she definitely went from shady bounty hunter work
Fair.
of going around and just killing people to she's really stepped into a role that isn't so much about doing things for money, more doing things for people.
Did
so,
she ever get paid for that last bounty she did?
Which one are you?
Where she was finding Aang.
No.
She did
Before.
not.
Probably not.
Okay. She might have to go
I was going
below
to
Hama then. I might have to move her to low B. No, I struggle with putting her above Sokka's dad.
Above Sandman?
Yep. Above Sandman, I think.
I can live with that.
It's
your girl.
Katara. Miss Katara.
She was all over the place.
She
went from
yes.
cool to whiny to cool again to I'm going to be a bitch to I saved a village because I thought it was, the right thing to do by pretending to be one of their gods to whiny again to the Katara we know.
She had to, though, right? I mean, she was always the mother figure, but she kind of grew into her badass warrior self, right? I think she's below Jet, but I do think she is an A-worthy character arc. I do.
Boomy!
I love my dude here, okay? This man.
But.
He's never changing.
He hasn't changed since they were kids, apparently.
No.
I mean,
He... Yeah.
You put them together, they're best friends.
I know.
They're best
I know.
friends.
Yeah.
The actual leader of the Dai
God damn it, the king. So this is oh man, the Earth King.
You're gonna hate this. I'm skipping just for a second.
Kiyoshi.
From what we know in Avatar, she has no. She's just death.
I mean,
She's kick ass. You're in my way. I'm gonna kill you.
Yeah.
So, right, because that's all we know from the series.
Because you read the book.
I need
right?
to restrain. I know.
Yeah,
I've
no.
read her character development.
And I know it's bigger than this, but this is just
Right.
Avatar.
From-
This fucking
Realistically,
hurts me, but I get it. I know where you're coming from.
Danger
because we
Cloud.
have to keep everything. We have to keep everything the same.
I know.
That's the only reason.
Okay, yeah. No, you're right.
I don't think this guy
Read the
goes
Kiyoshi
anywhere.
books. Anyways.
I think
Earth
he's
King.
D as well.
No. He is definitely C, and he is above the Sandbender. Yep.
It's your list, though, so...
Okay, no, but hear me out, right? I'll even explain. So, Earth King goes from literally allowing the Dai Li to completely run his life and run his country to taking control of his country and dealing with his shit only because of Aang, though. Right? Aang literally had to pull this man from the castle, try to show him the Dai Li secret underground system they had going on, and then had to pull him over to find the drill because he couldn't prove anything with the tunnel that had been destroyed. So I no. I love the
Fair.
bear, though. I'm here for that. Yeah, this dude. He's always shady.
Is this based, like, Chinese? Right?
I'm not
Yeah.
going to be your best.
Because he was.
Bet.
That's Earthbender. Dude,
yeah, I was gonna call him something Mr. Krabs, but we'll go with it. Anyways, this guy, bowl cut.
Oh,
That was.
This is
one
the
of
guy.
Jet's dudes, wasn't
yep.
it?
This is the guy that doesn't say much of anything. He's the one that goes with.
He doesn't say anything until the end.
Right.
Isn't he the one that's like, it's over, it's done?
He's the one that helps Snellerby.
Isn't he the one that feels
Deal with Jet.
Jet's heartbeat though?
Mhm.
Yeah.
I would say that's some character development. It's not huge. Above Earthbender, not above Sandbender.
My.
May. Okay, this is big ones for me. This is A. This is above Katara. You think above Jet too? I think there's only one really big shift and it's gradual.
But it's huge.
But there's.
Yeah.
It goes
There
from
is a snapping
her.
point.
There is,
Yes.
and
I mean, she fought Azula to help. Like it has to.
Okay.
You say it's gradual, but it's a gradual to a point, and then all of a sudden it's just like, and then it's
But
huge.
she's always been a little bit better than all the rest of them in that friend group.
Yes.
Right, and then.
I mean, there has to be one.
You're right. There is always one.
She struggles with her own personal feelings about herself, about
Yep.
other people,
About her family, about her friends. I know. And that's always caused her outcastedness, but also her semi-go-with-the-flowness because she can't formulate her own opinions.
Right. And she finally finds something in Zuko that she cares about more than anything.
Yeah.
That she ends up fighting her best friend to make sure he's safe.
Yeah, and Jet never really has that. It's always kind of for him. That's fair. Okay. Alright. Aw.
I think he's a B, at least.
He's a B. Yeah, above Hama. Not above Gyatso.
Because his character development is also huge.
Always really goofy. Going from fearful to on the right side of history, too. But never really big changes. Momo. I mean, you're with Appa, buddy. I'm sorry, but...
Their best friend? Well, he had a character development, actual.
How
Cactus
so?
Juice.
Huh?
Okay. Yes. How so, though?
Going from being a little menace to, like, Sokka and Aang and all those guys to still being a menace, but in a loving way.
Like
Kind-
Obi.
Okay.
Just, I was
Yeah.
just about to say that.
Yeah. Okay.
Obi, but like he.
Mark
cares a
Hamill.
lot.
Ozai.
Firebender Luke Skywalker.
He's above the Dai Li,
Really?
but not by much.
This guy, I think,
He's a
is-
big one. Above Gyatso, even, I'd say.
I would
That's
say...
the Master Water
No.
Bender.
You don't think
correct?
so?
Nope.
No.
Yes, that's the Master Paku. The
It's
one who...
Katara's grandfather.
Well, no.
Sort of.
Now, step-grandfather.
Yes.
But, yes, the one that Gran was betrothed to before she went to the South Pole.
Swordmaster.
Oh, I love this guy. I love this dude. He's above...
I don't think you get any higher than a
No,
top C.
you're right. But I think he's above... Nope.
Um,
He is above the emo girl.
The
Emo Ash?
girl.
Yeah,
really.
Another one of Jed's
I think
friends.
so. I do.
really don't see a whole lot of character development with him.
Explain, because I can be swayed on this one, I think.
So, take his, because the entire time he's training Sokka,
Right.
he puts off this front of, I will only train such and such people. Right? Everyone just assumes that you have to be part of the Fire Nation to be trained by him.
Mm-hmm.
Sokka makes up a fake name, goes in, and he starts to show, that mentor-student relationship with Sokka,
Mm-hmm.
and starts to open up to Sokka by the end of it,
Mm-hmm.
and appreciate that Sokka is willing to learn something from someone who knows more than him.
And on top of, he is also a leader of
The White Lotus.
the White Lotus.
I think that he doesn't personally show any character development, more he's there to show character development for the other characters around him. He simply opens up more by the end of the segment.
That's fair. It's not necessarily character development, it's just what we learn about him.
That's character development. You
It's-
guys literally just explained character
I
development.
mean, pretty much, yeah.
Fair enough. Okay.
I mean, but it's
He
not
also-
like a change in his character.
She didn't change either. She was still doing bounties for people.
Yeah.
But she went from more, money-hungry, dirty work, trying to catch a
And
bag, to
he went-
helping people.
He went from, you have to be a part of the Fire Nation to be trained by me, to, I'm
But
going to train anybody.
But he never cared about that. That was simply a front, and then we learned that, he had to keep that front to keep
But
his
yes, it may
place.
have been a front, but it's still
But it was
character
still
development.
there.
It's still showing that how his character changed, even before the front that he put on. That's how his character changed throughout his entire life. To me, that's big character development. Personally, I think it deserves to be higher on the list, but it's not my list. Because like Iroh, he went from, a leader of the Fire Nation to, I'm going to be on the right side of history by the end of this. and I'm going to train people, even though I know for a fact they aren't Fire Nation.
I understand where you're coming from. Personally, I think that is pretty fair for what we know of him and how much we actually got to see of his transition in the show.
Because if we're being honest, too, the 3 books that we got on TV, just like a manga, not even close to what they all have in their actual books.
And that's also very fair. I need to read through the comics personally, but I think for what we've seen, this would be where I would put him. So I'm going to leave him for now, and I'm going to keep giving it a little bit of second thought. I think he's worth thinking about again.
I'm not saving this dude for last, so let's do him now.
Which one?
That one.
Oh, General General... There's Iroh, and then there's... Zhao?
Zhao.
I think this might be Zhao. I'm sorry, I can't remember his name right now.
Isn't this the one that Zuko kicks the shit out of?
Admiral Zhao. Yeah.
And then he goes to hit Zuko
becomes
from
general
behind,
by
and
the
Iroh's
end.
like, we're not doing
Yep.
that.
So he gets challenged to an Agni Kai by Zuko. Zuko doesn't want to go through with it because he knows how much shit he was put through by being punished that way.
Right.
And Zhao thinks that's dishonorable. I don't see any change from him ever. He just kind of gets cockier. So, above Judy.
At least he has a personality.
It's a fiery one
Ouch.
at that.
Very good.
Beat me to the fucking punch.
Another one of Jet's friends.
Yeah, good guy. He eventually gets his own opinions, though, which is kind of fun. So, yeah. I'd say keep the friends together. Roku! Okay. My dude.
If we're being honest, he doesn't have much character development either.
He
He's
doesn't.
always been that, I want to do the right thing type of guy.
But he went from pretty out there to relatively humble endings. So...
Was it really... he kind of just got screwed over. Right, okay, so...
He got humbled.
He got
Right.
humbled
Yeah.
by the people training him and teaching him the 4 elements. He had that
He
ability
also
to
got
do
humbled by his best friend who left
that.
him.
Sozin didn't leave him necessarily, though. Sozin had differing ideas and wanted to make Roku a bigger part in them, and Roku could see how fucked up these ideas were. And so Roku had to take a step back and be like, I need to be Avatar Roku right now instead of your best friend. I need you to fucking stop. He didn't stop, but Sozin didn't create any issues, so he just went about his life.
Well, no, he left him to die in the volcanic ash.
Yes.
After they fought together. I mean...
Like,
They helped each other save things from the volcano, and then he's just like, oh, you're dying, bye.
Okay, bye.
I'll let them know your sacrifice wasn't in vain.
See ya, bye. Have a good one.
I'm just gonna.
I don't think that's much character development on his part as it is Sozin's, though.
I'm gonna head out. That's literally what happened. Anyways, where do you want him?
I want him...
Lucy Hardy.
AC/DC?
I think above Earth King.
I think that's fair.
And then Snellerby... Oh, that's a fun
Has
one.
feelings by the end of
Yeah.
Jet's death?
Rather than anger, I'd go right below Hama.
The boy.
Sokka. Oh, Sokka.
He stays childish, but matures all the way through the series.
It's
He matures more than Aang does,
It's
obviously.
big maturity moves. Yeah, because it goes from women should stay in the kitchen to, yo. Yeah, no.
He is humbled by every challenge that he takes on and learns from.
This is my opinion, personally. But
Yeah, I think similar to May, he has that snapping point too at the swordsman's
Yep.
little
I would even say
retreat.
before that,
You think so?
at the prison.
I think that's another. Maybe there's 2 big ones then, because that could be a big one. But I think I saw the most change after him and his
Because the most,
master.
you could say a similar thing. The most change you see in Katara is whenever she pretends to be the fire god.
No, I wouldn't.
It's one of the big
Personally.
ones. Because she hates the Fire Nation.
I think the first big one is with Paku, and then I think the second big one is with her dad on the Fire Navy ships. What were you gonna say about Sokka though?
I would say Sokka's first major turning point was after meeting Suki.
That's a good one where he was like all up in her face about how girls can't fight, and she fucking owned his ass. Yeah.
And he, you know, he has to humble himself because he still has these feelings of, I shouldn't have been beaten by a girl, to, would you please train me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Speaking of...
Okay. Girl boss. Okay. She gets humbled pretty good too. I think she is
She grows in
above-
strength
Yes.
and skill.
For sure.
Emotional maturity throughout the series.
I personally think it'd be above Hama, but I don't think it's at an A level for me.
I would say above this dude then.
You think so? I can accept that. Sozin. Okay. This is
And
another.
you do see his backstory.
So this is another S class for me. In the opposite reason of Iroh.
And we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
Another one of those downward spirals, driven purely by the fact that, oh, my best friend growing up, yeah, he's the Avatar, so I'm big boss around these parts while he's gone.
Yep. Tries to live up to it, but ends up going in an opposite direction that really shouldn't have been. Aw. Crazy dude's son.
Crazy dude son.
I don't see any big growth with him, though. I'd say he's above Cabbage Guy. But that's about all I got.
The Boulder!
Yes.
He does have some growth.
A little.
He's there at the end to help, isn't he?
He is, actually.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, he is.
He gets humbled by a fucking...
blind girl.
Oof.
By a
We love
blind
that little blind
earthbender.
girl. Yeah, that's fair. I would say B above Gyatso. Yeah. I don't remember. That's the Duke.
The Duke.
And then that big one was Pipsqueak. I forgot about that. Okay, the Duke. I don't remember seeing the Duke very much after the first big encounter.
Did they even make it to Ba Sing Se?
I don't remember right now. If the Duke did, he only got one big push right when they were getting into Ba Sing Se, but I'm pretty sure it was just Jet, Snellerby, and the Quiet Dude. Don't quote. I know, I gotta remember his name
So
eventually.
where? Here?
Yeah. Tough. That is... Yeah, I think right there is fair. Below Katara... Well, no. I put her above Katara.
I think I'd put her above Jet.
You know... Yeah.
She goes from hating everything and picking on everyone to loving everyone and then still picking on them.
I mean, yeah. Right? Like,
How's it going, Twinkle Toes?
Yeah.
Called him that throughout their entire life.
Hey.
Goes from
Okay.
pretending to be a blind girl to being a real mentor, too.
See, but like, if you love people, you gotta pick on them.
That's fair.
You gotta.
I have troubles calling her blind, too, because she really can see. And
With her
see a
feet.
lot more than somebody with able eyes.
She literally...
I have trouble calling her blind.
Isn't she the one that created fucking being able to see as a earthbender
Yes,
through your
you know
feet?
that stomp
Yes.
that they do? Yep, that's exactly it.
That Daredevil-esque shit where it's fucking... You can see, but you can't see.
Yep.
Right.
Try and hide from me, it fucking stomps your foot.
And metal
Really?
bending.
No, dude, come
She
on.
created that too.
She did.
Out of pure
She's a
willpower.
beast.
Literally, she just didn't want to be somewhere, and she's like, "Well,
Oh, this
not
isn't
doing
this isn't
this."
containing me.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of like
Yo,
a rock.
I can
Full.
see the pieces of earth in here. Moves them. Like what?
Literally says, huh. Full.
Yes. I need to use the bathroom.
Women power, dude.
So I'm gonna
Shit.
break this metal cage,
Yeah.
box to go pee. I have to pee.
Yeah.
Man.
See ya.
Women's strength.
Mama!
What?
Zuko's mama.
This
Oh,
isn't.
Ty Lee. We're on Ty Lee. Okay, she is below Katara, but still A for me. Not a whole lot of personality switch, but side
like
switch.
May
Yep.
fights her best friend to protect her other friend.
Yep.
Yeah. But it's still kind of a go with the flow situation, too.
I mean, it just shows that she liked her company more than hers.
Well, and for good reason, right? May treated her like a person.
I mean, go back to the beach scene, right? You have May and Ty Lee opening up to their friends, and they're both just kind of like, they shut them down. It's like, why the
That was the start of Azula's downfall, was the beach. Changed my mind.
It showed a really big crack in the whole stone cold.
Like her trying to,
Icy
you know,
bitch.
get with someone, right?
Yeah, showing some vulnerability, saying, hey, I think I like you in a way that I don't really have feelings to express.
So you're going to do what I say or I'm going to destroy you.
Yeah. I think together we could be the most powerful
The dude
couple
just...
in-
What?
And then I'm gonna go.
Alright, peace out.
Yeah. Okay, now Mama. Okay. I love her so much.
But she doesn't have...
She
any
doesn't have...
development.
Well, okay, no, but she does. She goes from marrying Ozai to running away to save her son. Right?
Yeah.
Going with the flow on that to saying, yeah, this isn't right, but you're not going to kill my kid. I'm outie. So...
I
I
wouldn't
think-
say enough to put her at a C personally. I would put her maybe right above Aang. Because that's a really big character development that she does have, but we don't get to see a whole lot on it.
Because you have to...
You
And that's
have
what
to
the
read
movie... That's what
comic.
the Avatar movie is going to be, right?
Yeah.
So... When those come out, we should come back and do this again because technically those are Avatar
Yep.
world movies.
I agree, and I think we should save this one. I agree with you guys. I think right above Aang. Oh, the owl. There's
character development in Korra, but that's it.
For the owl,
Yes.
There's a bit only showing
So-
him being cool, and then him getting fucked over, and him no longer being cool, and that's steadfast.
And then that's still character development.
It is.
That's what I'm getting at. That's the
And
only development you see.
I mean,
Bring it.
just to kind of bend the rules just a tad bit for my explanation.
Okay.
Because the owl was once, because he holds this great library of knowledge,
Mm-hmm.
he used to allow everyone in before he, hid the place underground because firebenders came in, used the knowledge for bad,
Yep.
which is one of his only rules in that library.
And he explains that. He's
And-
pretty upfront.
But unfortunately, you don't get to see the library as what it was. You don't get to see that development change in him in this show.
Right.
He
What
goes
the
a little
fuck?
bit into explaining
Thanks, Logan.
why he's a little bit more strict than he was. He sees what, Sokka does with the information because obviously he's all-knowing. He knows what happens with that information because it's constantly being updated.
Right.
This is where I'm kind of bending the rules a little bit because you kind of see later on that, he's a little bit more open to having people come in to use the information as they need it.
Right.
I still think he's a D tier, though.
You still think he's a D?
Yes.
Where would you put him on the D?
Because you don't see enough development in the show. Just like for her, you don't see enough character development in the show. You don't get to see her up and leave. You just see that she's gone.
Right.
You literally
You
one
just see
scene
it in
she's there.
Right.
flashback that she actually leaves.
You don't see anything that involves that with him. Nothing. You don't get to see the library as what it once was when he had it open to people, and then when the firebenders came in and just fucking destroyed everything, right?
You're
Like-
right. He just told the story, and we were expected to believe
Yes.
it to move on and get the information that they needed.
And obviously, later later on you find a little bit more about him in Korra,
Yeah.
knowing that he's one of the spirits. But like,
Yeah.
I think that's fair. I think
I'm not like dismaying anything that you say, but
No,
like it's
I'm-
one of those things we have to keep it equal because same explanation, we don't see anything from him.
Yeah.
At least with her, you do see some of the flashbacks.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they could have done him a little better, show what he's talking about. When he's talking about it, show the flashbacks.
I think more time should have been dedicated to him.
Yes.
But
Because he's a big character.
That's a lot of information that
Well,
when the
just
show
kinda.
came out, a lot of us were really young trying to figure out this information. We're just expected to believe
Imagine
what
it.
he's saying.
yes, he is instrumental in the main reason they were able to figure out the first attack on the Fire Nation. And I think he should get more
No.
justice eventually. No.
Well, no, I was holding him here
Oh,
so you could
okay.
see him.
He is very low for me. You never see his formal change either. He just kind of
I remember who he
disappears
is.
into thin air. He's the one that goes with the boulder to find Toph.
Oh.
He's the attendant.
That's Toph's teacher,
Yep.
quote
Her
unquote.
earthbending teacher. This is the dude who was in the underground earthbending thing as well.
He's also with the boulder.
Yes. Actually, I think he and that gentleman were the ones that
Right.
went after Toph.
And you don't see him very much after either.
No. Once they get stuck in that metal casing, there's no real contact.
Literally changes forms. It cannot be below a B. Just putting that out there.
She goes from a sweet little girl, 16-year-old girl.
To giving up her life for the moon spirit.
Yes. And becoming the moon spirit. And, we're going to jump off topic here, right? If it wasn't for Aang's dumbass, she's your next Avatar.
True.
That's totally fair. Right? Like,
Well-
she should have been the Avatar. If he
Aang is a
would've died
fucking
right there.
coward.
I agree.
That's the only reason she was the way
I
she
don't
was.
think she would have been the Avatar.
Who do you think?
Because I believe if you read back into the lore, Korra was born to the Southern Water Tribe. It would have been another person born to the Southern Water Tribe.
Oh.
So Aang would have been near the end of his life cycle around the time that Katara was born. She most likely would have been closer to being the next Avatar than she would
I
have.
think it might have been Katara's mother, actually. I think that probably would have been closer to his end of life cycle.
That's as far as I would go, but
Because he was 112, technically. Say average lifespan is 80 years.
And
He
he
died-
lived to be 66 after being unfrozen.
so you have to take that into your
So-
calculations.
166 is really what he got to. So 12 years before the freezing, 100 years of freezing, and then those how many
Well, what I'm
years?
saying is you have to take that into consideration as like, if
So-
he wouldn't have frozen himself, he would have lived to be 66.
Ish. I mean,
So,
granted, I think the freezing probably took off years from the end of his life.
so 54 years after so 12, he would have realistically lived another 54 years, dying at the age of 66. We go back.
It would have been Katara's mom.
yeah.
It would have been. Because she was the only waterbender there, right?
That might be a little old, even though, for
'Cause,
Katara's.
You gotta. They're probably. Because that would make her
But even
46 at the time. Or, sorry. Because she was. Where did my math go?
There was death before he got unfrozen. Okay.
so, here's my thing, and this is why I will argue this.
Okay.
Because I understand the lore part of it, like, right? Because Korra was in the Southern Water Tribe. I get that. Understand it. But that doesn't mean that the Avatar would have been born in the Southern Water Tribe.
Right.
I'm still sticking with she would have been the next Avatar for the simple fact that the only reason she had all the health problems and stuff that she did.
Was because her existence was unnecessary.
Yes.
Because Aang.
And why would she have been chosen to? Because it's not by coincidence that she just gave her life up for the Moon Spirit. It's not.
No, it's because the moon spirit gave a part of its energy for her to live.
Yes. So I'm sticking with my guns. She would have been the next Avatar.
Well, because you can be spiritually connected to the spirits around you and not be the avatar.
But what I'm getting at is all the health problems that she had. Because her existence at this point, because she wasn't the chosen avatar because of Aang, her existence was meaningless. She did not need to exist.
Yeah. I understand both of you, and I agree.
And I'm not saying that I
partially on all
don't
of it.
disagree with him. I'm just... Because what he says makes sense, and what I'm saying to myself makes sense.
Right.
I
It's
can
an
see
interesting
both
thought.
sides.
Yeah.
I can see both sides.
And who knows, right? Even if Aang died and then, Katara's mom was the next avatar, that would still... If Katara's mom died early, that would still leave it open for her.
Well,
Possibly.
It'd go to the Earth Kingdom after that.
Y'all, you're right. You're right.
I'd love to have a full conversation on that. For right now, let's get her tiered.
Right.
We're getting close, because then we gotta go into Iroh and Zuko, and it's gonna be a mess.
it's not
So-
really going to be a mess. It's right and wrong at that
Oh my
point.
god.
If you
Um,
don't think they have character development, then I guess you're fucking wrong. Sorry about it. Like,
Yikes.
Shit. I don't think she's above Azula, though. Personally.
I agree with that.
I think she's above Paku. 100%.
I'd put her here.
That's
She
where I
does-
would put her as well.
She
Go
does a
ahead, though.
lot of growing in the week or so that she is there.
But she
she
only
learned-
gets to live a week in our eyes, right?
She literally she literally learns from everyone that's around her, both good and bad.
Yep.
She is this sponge of information and is just, okay, I have my morals in line. I know this is bad. I'm not going to let this happen anymore.
Yeah, and that's fair. But it never really changes her view on anything either, because it's still all about her doing what's best for her people and going with what she's dutied to do rather than something that she may want to do. So I think that's fair.
So here's a question.
Okay.
Right, because now we're getting into hypotheticals. Before we get into this. So Korra, your next avatar.
Yeah.
Imagine if the cycle never changed. What if Aang never got frozen? Who would have been the next avatar? Because it wouldn't have been Korra. I don't think Korra would have gotten it at all.
Well, wasn't that
So-
what we were just talking about? How either her or Katara's mom could have been the possible
Well,
next...
no, I get that, but like you're talking years down the road, right? So because then it would have been water and then earth.
Yep.
So who from the Earth Kingdom would have gotten it that we know?
That we know? So you're looking...
That could have been tough.
I
I
mean,
mean, depending on length of...
And then who from the Fire Nation would have gotten it?
see, I think that's where we would have started running into...
Korra characters.
That's what I'm saying.
I think that's where we run into the possibility of Bolin or Bolin's brother. What's his
Well,
name?
because that's where it starts to get tricky, because they're born to a city of, it's a mix of everyone. Their mother was an earthbender, I believe.
An
or her-
the fire was a firebender. The mother was an earthbender, I believe. And that's why one has the ability... No, wait. One has the ability to bend lava, and then...
The other has the ability to bend lightning.
There we go.
Yep. So, these are questions.
Well, I mean, we probably have more possibility of people being born with multiple bending styles if Aang got to live
Because if you think
his
about it,
full
right?
life right away.
If he would have had his sons, right?
Mm-hmm.
His sons or daughters could have been the next heir avatar.
There's possibility, but none of the air nations would necessarily be destroyed like they were if he hadn't been frozen.
I mean, you're right. But hypothetically speaking,
There's possibility.
Well, we also have to take the... So, the life of the Avatar isn't 100% random. It's still chosen to a certain extent by Rava.
Right.
Which we meet in Korra.
Basically, the necessity of your person at that time.
Yep.
However long it took to bring balance back to the world.
Yep.
And then it's like, well, I don't need you anymore.
Yeah. And that's assuming
and it took
that...
66 years.
Right.
For him to finally bring balance back to the world.
Or find his sense of balance in the world and say this is enough, and then he leaves that earth, and then it moves on.
Because it took Roku, 80 some
something.
years?
And even then, he left the world...
He left it unbalanced.
Worse than he started it.
Again, just sounds like another story that I've heard before, Star Wars, but we don't need to get into that, so...
Alrighty.
So let's start with Zuko.
Yeah, he's going to be the easiest to deal with.
I'm going to compare this to an anime. Like Vegeta. Starts out, I'm going to kill the Avatar to restore my honor.
Yep.
So we'll take Vegeta. I'm going to kill Kakarot to restore my honor of Prince of all Saiyans. Because I'm not going to let a low class...
Well,
and then
more
by book 2,
he's just trying to get his childhood back and get his family back, right?
By book 2, he is in that conflict of, what am I supposed to do?
Obviously, my family cannot be the way it was.
I know that I am wrong, but I want my honor back.
Was it book... It was book 2, where he literally did something nice and was sick for 4 days because he's never done something nice for someone.
Wasn't it also book 2 where he saved that little child?
Yes, so he saves the child, and that's also where Azula's out to get them. He ends up on the same side as the Avatar, and then his body goes into that whole metamorphosis, and Uncle Iroh has to be there nursing him because he gets that high fever and he's really sick, trying to battle his two sides, Sozin and Roku, because we find out that she's the daughter of the Avatar. So, I mean, book 2 is a big changer for him. Book 3 is also a really weird period, because he just tries to convince himself that once Azula allows him to take credit...
You meant his mom, right?
What's up?
You meant his mom, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you didn't say that.
Yes, I did. Didn't I?
You didn't specify.
No, you just said she.
Oh. Okay, I pointed. So that's my bad. Yes, his mom is the daughter of the Avatar. But anyways, yeah, and then book 3, he tries to convince himself that he's back to being in his family. Everything's going to go back to normal. He's going to take his place as Fire Lord, whatever, so have it. And he realizes that's no longer something he can be comfortable with and find honor. And
we just have to talk about one of the most badass scenes in the whole show is whenever his father shoots lightning at him and he's like, hey,
redirection. Yeah,
Uncle Iroh showed me this, here you go.
Hey Dad, look what Uncle showed me. Right back at you, Pops.
And finally learning about just how shitty Ozai was, right, when he basically used the death of Iroh's son to capitalize and take his place as Fire Lord. That shit still to this day gets me.
And now we're on to the man, the myth, the legend. The most popular character in all of Avatar.
Everybody's grandfather, right? I mean...
I would sit down and drink JT.
R.I.P. to the original voice actor of Iroh.
Yes. Aw. That song singing to himself and his younger... Oh. Okay, but,
that picture they used is actually a picture of his younger self, too.
Right. And Iroh's is a really interesting character development, right? Because we start really in his transitionary period, almost. Where Zuko finds himself in the beginning of book 3.
So here's my thing with that, too, right? Like we have been explaining. At least with his character development, you see what he was like before.
Yeah.
To a point. And you see how far he's come. Because, and you and I have argued this a lot, I feel like, though he doesn't show it, he does know forms of other bending.
Well, and he's very clear about that. When he was in these other nations, he was studying their craft.
Not that he can bend like water or air,
to improve his firebending.
The technique of what they did to improve his firebending.
Yep, absolutely. There's so many words you could say, but there's none that really need to be said because he is so amazing.
This is what you call a perfect character.
I agree.
In my eyes.
I agree. I get enough of every emotion and every
stage
of him.
You get anger.
Yep.
You get sadness. You get happy. You get anxious, nervous. You get caring. You get it all.
Yep. I agree.
And you get the most important one in my eyes is forgiveness.
Mm-hmm.
At the end, whenever these two come together.
Yep. Agreed.
And Zuko's like, you're mad at me. You're going to shun me. And then I cried because he grabbed him and they hugged.
Yep.
For like 5 minutes.
Yep.
But
I would say Iroh is probably the only character that any character development that you see on this list, it is shown in his character alone.
Yes.
That's a very good point, right? I mean, he goes through
every character development.
I mean, this man goes from literally eradicating the dragons to trying to own a tea shop because he just wants to live a normal life. There's nothing more that needs to be said about this. I think I'm comfortable, and I appreciate all y'all coming and joining me on this. Thank y'all so much.
No problem.
With that being said, we're gonna go ahead and head out. I will see y'all next week. Later.
Yeah. Please tell me that I can't, that I won't, that I fail, that I'll never make it out, yeah. Please tell me all the bad, never good, fill my head full of every single doubt, yeah. Please say any negative thoughts, I pop off when I hear people say I cannot. I get off to the thought of proving everyone wrong, I won't stop to the top, so you better back off and get lost. I'ma stay loud, stay proud, never running out, never heading south. I'll be spreading out, call it word of mouth, can't put me down, I'll be getting loud. You can have your doubts, not what I'm about, have your cloud, it be raining now, I keep making sound, go another round, I'm legend bound, can't stop me now. You don't wanna fuck with me, a slow burn like a disease. Just tell me that I can and I'll show you things that you couldn't believe. Just tell me